episode, I am going to share with you the 5 biggest mistakes that first-time home buyers make during the home buying process. This way, you can avoid those mistakes and make smart decisions throughout the process of buying your home. I'm Ashley Peterson with the Ashley Peterson team at RE/MAX Jefferson City. So let's start learning. One common mistake we often see buyers make is that they shop for the house before they shop for their mortgage. It is so important to have that mortgage, start talking to your local lenders, mortgage brokers, or what have you, to get pre-approved prior to shopping for a home. Because one scenario we have seen a lot is that the buyer looks online, sees a property they'd like to go take a look at, goes and looks at the home, falls in love with it, then they go talk to their lender to get pre-approved so they can make an offer. And guess what? During that time, another buyer comes along who is already pre-approved and ready to go and makes an offer on that home, and we end up missing out on the property because they did not have their ducks in a row and they weren't pre-approved first. So it's very important to have your pre-approval before you start shopping for a house. Another reason why is you need to know how much you can afford. So it might be that you're looking in one price range but really can't afford it. So now you've come accustomed to seeing what's in that price range, and when you step down a level to what you can't afford, you may be disappointed in the homes that you'll be looking at. Another common mistake we see buyers make is making an offer on a home and buying a property and not knowing how long they plan to live and own the property. If you're only going to be in a house for 1 or 2 years, it's probably not smart of you to go ahead and buy that home. You really want to be in a home a minimum of 5 years so you're not upside down in it. So when you are thinking of buying a home and possibly start looking at homes, it may be a good idea to fast forward a few years and think, where will you be 3 years from now? Are you still planning on being in the same town? Or do you think you'll be moving towns? Or is there a possibility you're getting married and moving in with your new spouse? Really think of those things before you make an offer. One thing my husband and I did that worked out very well for us is we ended up buying a 4-plex, and we lived in one unit and rented out the others because we weren't sure exactly where we were going to be, but we knew we wanted to have an investment and buy a home. So we rented out that 4-plex, and we still have it today. It's been a great rental for us. So that's an option. If you're thinking you're not going to be in the home for 5 years, maybe it's a thing where you buy an investment property and live in one unit and rent out the others. Okay, the third biggest mistake we see buyers make, first-time home buyers make, is that they empty out their savings in order to buy a home and to have the down payment and have the closing costs. They empty out their savings. And you got to remember, when you're buying a home, there's going to be expenses. You're no longer renting anymore. So after you move in, if something breaks down, that's your responsibility. And you want to be able to afford the upkeep of this home. Because if you don't, keep up with things that break or keep up with the maintenance of the home, then your home is not going to appreciate in value. So do not deplete your savings account to buy a home. You really should have some sort of emergency fund for unexpected things that may happen while you own the property. So be sure to still have a cushion after you go to the closing table. Okay, number 4. This is the 4th biggest mistake we see first-time home buyers make, and that is they decide, hey, it can't be that hard. Let's just save some money and not use a real estate agent. And that is such a big mistake. Buying a house is not like going to the store and buying a pair of shoes. There is so much involved in homes, in buying a home, in real estate. First of all, there's a contract that needs to be written, and you need to make sure that contract, protects you. So if you go down to the local Staples and get a blank contract, I'm not sure that that contract's really going to protect your interests. So it is super important to hire that agent who is familiar with the contract. And then there's so many things that go along with buying a home. Number one, we need to make sure it has clear title, and your real estate agent is going to walk you through that process. Number two, we need to make sure you get your inspections done within your inspection deadlines, so you don't wind up buying a home that you can't get inspections on. And another thing you need to look out for is your loan commitment contingency. So we have a loan commitment contingency in our contracts, and that means that you need to make sure your loan is secure by that date. If not, if you pass that deadline, then you could be out your earnest money, or even worse, could possibly get sued. Also, we have appraisal contingencies in there that your realtor is going to be able to walk you through the appraisal process as well. And another thing realtors do a great job at, and oftentimes this is with first-time home buyers, is searching and trying to find you all first-time home buyer grants. So a realtor can oftentimes actually save you money. So it's very important to have a professional, and not just any professional, one that is good, that's looking out for your best interest. It's very important for you to have an agent by your side. And the last common big mistake we see first-time home buyers make is that they often make decisions with their heart and not with their head. And, a lot of times we see these first-time home buyers fall in love with the home, and they think this is the only home for them. They can't imagine themselves anywhere else, and therefore they will do anything to get that home. And you just want to be very careful. During the inspection process, we need to make sure you're buying something that is a sound home. You don't want to get into the situation where you move into the property and the honeymoon phase wears off, and here you are stuck with a home that needs repair after repair after repair. And another thing to be looking for is the resale value. Are you buying a home that's going to be easy to sell once you are finished with the home and need to sell it? So that's where your realtor comes in as well. They're going to let you know, is this a property that will be easy to sell when the time comes and you decide to sell down the road. All right, guys, I hope you learned a lot. I'm Ashley Peterson with the Ashley Peterson team at RE/MAX Jefferson City. And be sure to click subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in our next video.